Miami traffic, American 42 on the left downwind runway, 27 Miami.
Hey, Miami traffic, American 243 following company, runway 27 downwind, we call base.
Miami traffic, American 42 turning a 10-mile final runway, 27 Miami.
Miami traffic, base turn runway 27, Miami.
guys, welcome to the stream. Today we are on the ground in Miami.
Miami traffic, American 42.
We're getting ready to depart and head to Princess Juliana. Flight time should be just under 3 hours or so. Weather looks to be great for the entire route. So yeah, welcome aboard. We're gonna start getting the passengers loaded. We just finished getting fuel done and the catering. So we're gonna start loading up here and getting going. Hope everyone is doing well today. As you see here on screen, this is what we're looking at today here. So again, we're gonna be flight level 370, depending we don't have any issues with this airplane today. But flight level 370, looks like winds are going to be out of the north and we're going southeast. This is going to be, we're going to have a nice tailwind. Estimated time about 2 hours 30 minutes is what it says. It'll probably be a little longer than that. We're doing 456 true. Again, we're at gate Delta 5 currently. We'll be parking at Alpha 2 at Princess Juliana. We're taking 148 folks with us, 7,400 pounds of cargo, 21,000 pounds of fuel. Minimum fuel for takeoff is 25.85, which isn't going to be a problem for us because we're right here next to our departing runway as well. So we'll hop in the airplane, start getting everything going as well. And so if we look over here, you guys will see where we are in relation to where we're going to be taking off from. So as we see, we're at Delta 5. That will stop. We're going to be going to right here to runway 26 left is our departure. So it's going to be a very short taxi to departure. So let's hop in the aircraft, start getting everything going. We're already getting the passengers loaded here as well. Again, we are in the 737 MAX, the American 737. Like I said, we'll hop in and start getting everything going. We should have 21,000, yep, 21.8. Why is that? Okay. Let's go back here. Actually, let's go ahead and turn the pumps on. Get the APU started. Get the beacon light on here. We'll leave ISO open. Let's turn the packs off though. Belt signs coming on.
Hello. Thank you.
APU jam. Again, waiting for the APU to start up here. Alright, air rec data is up to date. Let's get this set. Be at my A. Be Delta 5. Gate. We already have the route pulled in. Be American.
Traffic short final, American 243, runway for landing
19. Flight number today, let's activate that. Execute. Let's get departure information in. We're going to be doing the Clada 2 departure. Bit tack transition, we're going to be 26 left for that departure. don't have an arrival, so we're not going to worry about that. Actually, we're going to at least put the runway in. So we'll do RNAV 10. Let's do that. Approach. So coming from where we are, we'll use Sluggo. We're still getting those folks loaded on here. APU started. We have plenty of fuel. APU bleed on. Oh, actually, let's see, we're gonna have to turn it back off. We turn off the generator and such. Disconnect, 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 and set that. Bleed packs on. We're gonna finish getting that going. Give me 1 second.
Miami traffic, American 42 crossing runway 30 on Victor, Miami.
American 242 crossing runway.
Yo, Chewy, what's up, my friend? All right, I'll see you when you get back here. Sorry about that. I had to step away. Had to get the kid. So we were getting ready to go here. I believe all the folks are done boarding. And from the looks of it, it does. We're not using self-loading cargo. For some reason, it's acting weird. So we're gonna see how this flight goes without it. So we already have the flight plan in place. We're gonna get a couple other things going here. Let's go ahead and close the doors. Like those guys out there are done. So we'll remove the brakes there. Set. Let's go to doors, get all of them closed. Oh, I think I just opened the door. Close, 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 close. Alright guys, sorry about that. Let's get a move on here. Alright. We're getting going over here. Let's do that. Alright, we have airport map. We'll get terminal stuff up once. Actually, hold on, we're gonna need that for departure so you guys can see that. Complete. Let's edit. We have departure here is going to be the Clada 2. The weather is fine here, so even if we have issues, we can return right back here to here. We can do that visually. Have some clouds in the sky, but not IFR wise. All right, we'll leave that as such. Go back here, we'll leave it there. Yo, Chewy, good to see you back, man. Sorry, I was taking care of the kid there when you came in. So yeah, we're getting ready to get going, man. We're gonna head out to Princess Juliana. Try to get going. Try to get this flight going here if we can. Alright, let's see. Reserve. What do we have reserve-wise? You too, man. You too, man. Glad to have you here. Yeah, I'm trying to play catch-up, man. Trying to play catch-up, get these flights going. Alright, so we got 7.
Taking up from runway right now.
We got 7.0. We'll just leave it at 7 for that reserve. 27 on the cost. Cruise winds at 300 at 30, I think it was. Let me see, 37. We got plus 5 on the ISA. So hit that. Let's go N1s. 94. That'll do us fine there. We'll do regular climb. We'll go flaps 5, the usual. Got 4.2 on the trim. Get our V1 information there going. Let's go back to the legs page and get our winds. I'm sure you're flying today, aren't you, Chew? Alright, let's see. Cruise winds are ready. Let's load. Execute. Let's verify some things. Clatter, then hold on, let's see. Let's bring you up. We don't have any ATC on at the moment either, so we'll just go as we should. That's why I didn't fully pull in. Let's see, Sluggo. We'll be doing the RNAV. Alright, looks like we're good from what I see. Yeah, checking out New Zealand and new cargo plane. Oh crap, there's an Anatov? You gonna be flying the big 4 engine? The big monster? Alright, pre-flights are already done. Just about done. I'll do 2-6. .68. Go ahead and load on. Holy cow. Nice, dude. I can't wait to see that. I could not wait to see that. That's going to be pretty slick. Alright, window heats are already on. Pressurization is auto. Flight instrument set. Parking brake set. Alright, let's get the jetway disconnected. Let's get ready to push. Alright, we're not going to have any announcements and stuff because for some reason something's going on with self-loading cargo, so we're not going to use it because I don't want it to mess with this flight.
TCAS system test OK.
Let's go TCAS set. Let's get ready to push.
Ground to cockpit. We are connecting the tug now, so please confirm the parking brake is set.
Parking brake set. Alright, before start, flight deck is doors closed, fuel verify, pack signs are on, windows locked, MCP panel set, takeoff speeds V1 rotate,
Right, Captain, bypass
and
pin
V2 is set.
Inserted and the
Rudder aileron trim is free and
ready
zero.
to push at your discretion.
Taxi and
please
takeoff
leave
again. We got a
parking
short taxi here to runway 26. That's what we'll be doing. We have beacon light is on. We got one that we're doing. Northeast.
brake. Locking the gear now.
That sounds new. Or correct, should I say? New or correct, one of the two. Is he locking the gear? Yo, Jesus, what's up, man? Good to see you. Hey, man, good flying yesterday with Ibanez there, man. I wanted to chime in and tell you guys that y'all should do a flight, shared flight deck again, where Ibanez is like sitting at the ramp or sitting at the FBO. Or maybe it did lock in. All right, let's see. release the brakes. It should have moved up there by now.
Captain, you are
Okay.
clear for engine start.
Well, he's like sitting at the FBO and you land in the citation, and he jumps in and just sits in the back seat the whole time and lets you do your thing and lets you fly. I think that would be pretty awesome to see that. All right, let's hop in here and get this thing started. Let's get number 2 going. I'm gonna just hit that as well. Yeah, he was. He absolutely was. I'm telling you, man, that connected flight deck can be is where it's at, man. And I've said that for the longest time. I don't know why there hasn't been more development when it comes to shared flight deck, because as we know, unless you're doing GA only, there's never a single pilot in the flight deck of an airliner, or in most corporate jets. It's typically 2 pilots. I know that takes a little bit more work to do just because of the nature of PCs as well as programs and such, but I think it would it should be a norm, which I think would be pretty cool, man. Number 2 start. Okay, there we go. All right, we'll set the parking brake. Hold the brakes. All right, parking brake set.
We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Stand by. Unlocking the gear.
That'll allow, I think it'll allow flight sim pilots to get a little bit more acclimated to CRM and really knowing and understanding the flows in the flight deck.
Disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. We'll signal you on the side and have a good flight.
All right, still motoring. All right, there we go. Out of motoring state. Got number 1 spooling up. All right, airport station. So yeah, like I said, guys, we got a short taxi. We're going to be taxiing from the terminal here to Mike 13 for takeoff. Actually, we might just go Mike 11. I think it'll be fine there. All right, RTO on. Engine started. Did he get away from here already? I think he did. Why are they disappearing so fast, though? All right, let's get the weather radar on and test it.
Monitor radar display. Go around. Wind shear ahead. Wind shear ahead. Wind shear ahead.
PU going off. Auto. Engine bleeds on. The PU bleed going off. We got the rise on the duct pressure. And packs on. Hydraulic pumps going on. Oh, we never turned the yaw damper off from the last flight. Alright, we'll leave it on then. We'll go ahead and turn. Hold on, what's the temps outside? 27. I will leave that off for now. Set that back to normal. Let's go flaps 5. Crap, I can't see that. Let's just roll it up. Jeez, that's rolling fast. That looks right. All right, 5 set there, 5 set on the handle. Let's do a systems check. Left. Yeah, see how slow this turns? When the engines and everything are off, that turns fairly quickly. But when the engine started, it moves very slow. I don't know why it does that. Let's test the speed brakes. Alright, checked. Alright, we look good to go. Overhead panel. Look set. Let's get lights on. Get flashers on. Alright, let's see. Before taxi. Generators on, probe heats on. Anti-ice, actually probe heats are not on. Anti-ice is off, ISO valve auto. Engine start switches are continuous. Let's hit the recall button there. Checked. Auto brakes is RTO. Check. Just start levels idle. Detent check. Flight controls check. Ground equipment clear. Before takeoff, flaps are set. So 5 and green light. Stabilizer trim is 4.2. Set as well. And before takeoff, it's all squared away. Miami International traffic, American 2219 taxiing from the Delta terminal via Mike 11, runway 26 left, Miami International. All right, let's go. My brakes. Yo, FNL, how are you, my friend? Coming through the 14 months on that sub 1. I'm surprised you didn't come in and scare me like you normally do. Oh crap, hold on. Gotta stop. We don't have the nose tiller on for some odd reason. Where are you? Here. Should be here. I don't know why that wasn't set. Yeah, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Welcome in. All right, let's go. It'll come later. All right, we're clear left. Now, like I said early on, we do our Part 91 maintenance flight from here to Charlotte. We're gonna actually be parked over here at the American maintenance stands over here. Is where we're gonna push and start from when we do that flight. That'll be once we return from Princess Juliana. So it looks like our schedule is gonna probably bleed over a little bit into March. But I think I don't know, I may not do much flying in March, so we'll see. If anything, I may just go ahead and do the flights, the King Air flights again, and hop back into King Air is what I think I may do, because I have lately, the flights I just did in the King Air, I didn't stream, I did them all just recorded, and so I may just go ahead and stream those flights for next month. Probably do a little bit more GA flying and not take that month off in the airlines is what I just might do. But we got 2 new liveries for the King Air, the wheels up. We have the I think I showed it in the last video, but I used Commander's Connect for P3D liveries, and we got 2 more wheels up liveries. We have it's the orange color livery. I think it's November 829. United Papa is the tail number. And we have November 874, I think, is the other tail number, which is the red livery, red and white, which I think is pretty slick looking. All right, so we have that. Any cool airlines here in Miami that you saw? I saw American with not to my knowledge that I could think of offhand. Typically I look for it when we come in to land, but I haven't seen much. Alright, let's go. Landing lights all the way up. And strobes on. We'll go ahead and turn logo on too since the departure. Alright, overhead panel looks good. Flap set. We're set there. We actually probably go ahead and arm LNAV instead. Yes, A29 is nice. That's we're gonna be flying the red livery. So I have A29 based. I think I have it based at Hobby, and the red, I think 794, I think is what it is. I will look it up once I get at cruise. I have it here in Florida because most of our flights are gonna be out of Florida. Our first flight's gonna be out of Key West, going to where are we going on that leg? Let me see. Going to Clearwater, Florida. We got a lot of 30-40 minute flights. I got about 30 flights we're going to be doing for Wheels Up. Like I said, we may do all of those next month and go ahead and record them. So we'll see. I've seen A29 up. Oh, you have? Yeah, it's the I think it's let me see real quick. I'm pretty sure it's 874. Let me see here. Tail numbers, Wheels Up. Yes, it's 874 UP. Yeah, November 874. Yeah, that's the red one. And 829 is the orange one. Right now, I've been flying 873 United Papa is what I've been flying. I think I'm going to get with him as well and go ahead and have him make my tail number for the Bonanza that I fly in real life, and the Arrow that I'll be flying again, since now we have it at David Wayne Hooks again. So I think I'm gonna have him make delivery for those, since I know I have plenty of pictures I can give him for those, so that way I can fly those in the sim. All right, RTO, we're ready to go. We're squawking altitude. All right, we're gonna be departing to the southeast. Miami International traffic, American 2219, entering runway 26 left for departure to the southeast. Miami International. Alright, I don't think we have anyone landing 26 left. Taxi in. Let's just verify a couple of things here. We'll be on our way. Let's see here. Departures. Alright, let's go. Alright, we have 26 left at the hold short here of Mike 13. Yeah, Mike 13. But the radar is on as well. But yeah, we have quite a bit of flights out of Florida, and that was what I wanted to do.
Approaching
is get some flights out of where we're flying currently. All right, runway is clear. Departure looks clear. We have 26 left identified on the pavement.
On runway 26 left.
Alright, let me see if this will work, because it says this should be disabled once we hit Toga. Alright, let's hit Toga. Auto throttle on. We'll see, it should. Supposedly it should, so we'll just leave it set. Terminal chart, we'll bring up the departure here. So again, departing to the west, climb above 520, and then we'll start that turn onto the departure. We don't have a I don't have the aircraft one set F and L. Alright, let's go 40%. Somewhat 40%. Alright, looks stable. Let's go Toga. Yeah, no, once Toga's hit, it still is responding as it should. Let's turn that off. Give me my rudders. Alright, airspeed alive. There's 80 knots. Why is there an airplane on the runway? Everybody get out the... Oh, we're rotating. Alright, we'll rotate before we reach him. Somebody's getting a number to call and it's not us. Alright, got positive ready to climb. Gear coming up. Nav is set. Ah, okay, F and L. Alright, let's go. VNav set. Set the autopilot. Alright, let's go flaps 1. Flaps up. Let's go RTO off, flaps are up, gears up, lights out. RTO off. And we are pressurized as well. We are at 2.8 on the differential pressure and almost 2,000 on the cabin altitude. Passing 7,500. Oh, let's turn on the probes. There's 8,000. I'm gonna go ahead and bug up 370. 370 set. I'm loving the AIG. I just like playing. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, FNL. That plane is just sitting there watching the airplanes, man. It's pretty fun in itself. All right, there's 10,000. Let's go lights out. We'll leave the flashers on and runway turn-offs on. All right, we're picking up on speed. Seeing where they're going. Yeah, exactly, man. It's fun just looking at those things, man. Absolutely. let's see. Still have like 96 airlines uninstalled, and that's because I can't find models for them. Oh, so you already have almost all of them installed then. See, so the fun part about that is now you can put the, you can go anywhere and have that traffic on the ground. Like I said, the best part about it is having that traffic on the ground when there's no VATSIM traffic. Like I said, I always like to kind of fill in the gap for VATSIM with AI traffic. That way it still makes everything move pretty nicely, I'd say. Alright, where are we going to? Seaweed. Alright, we're turning from Lonzo to Seaweed. We'll go to Clouder, which is our actual RNAV departure waypoint. Then we'll exit at Batak. Alright, find them slowly but surely. How are you finding them? Because typically I don't. I just leave it as is. I don't even try to go find them. If AIG doesn't find it, I'm not wasting my time with it. I just leave it as is. Alright, we're 5 minutes into the departure. We're passing 16,000. Again, we are pressurized. We get the remaining lights off. Once we get to above 18,000. You say my goal is to get all of them. The pain is like NetJets. I have aircraft missing. Yeah, it's a lot of them that's missing with NetJets. Citations, a few CJ2s, which is weird as NetJets installed, but in the arrival and the departure it has those few models missing. Yeah, which happens to be the most. Yes, exactly. Yeah, and you may get lucky to get one of those. Hopes to get one of them, you know, out of it. The only problem is, like I said, that aircraft may not be departing from where you are. Let's go lights off, logo off. We get the remaining lights out. Go standard. That's weird. It's not giving. This is supposed to turn yellow once we cross 18,000. I don't know why it's not. Let me check something here. Make sure I didn't change something on this. Perf data. Yeah, no, it says transition altitude 18. Oh, it'll give me descent there, that's right. Let's go standard here as well. Alright, pass flight level 200. We're not using self-loading cargo today because the for some reason it's acting weird. It's not even loading in. So I don't even want to try to force it if something's wrong with the servers on their side. Let's see what you say here. We have some most. My airport has Blue Ocean. Oh, nice. Which accurate, and the Gulfstream 4. Exactly what I love to. I hate to say it, but most of the time we fly to an airport on Batson. Yeah, exactly. It's completely dead. No traffic, no nothing. So our group flights like these big streamers, the most we have is it's like 2 planes, and that's about it. We fly at every event. In F&O, we see some traffic, but AIG at high traffic counts makes it. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, and the main thing is it improves situational awareness. It makes you look around as you're taxiing, you know, for other traffic on the ground, which is very realistic. So. So yeah, that's why I like it. Like I said, it helps me bring more realism to it, so that way I can take that back to the real world. Because again, if you fly flight sim enough and you're a real world pilot, whatever habits you develop on here, you're gonna take back to the real world. And I was doing it at a point in time as well, where I was like not even doing checklists in the sim. I was just loading up and going. and I got used to that. And so to go back to doing things the right way in real life seemed like it almost seemed like it was going out the way. But once you make that a part of your routine on here, it's routine IRL like it should be, and it's not like you're out the way. It's just what you do. You know, you're doing what you do. Second downside can be sometimes a frame rate loss, but nothing. Yeah, and that's why I was telling you too to bring it down some, so that way you're not overworking your sim or causing it to have that big stutter right before landing or something when it's introducing new airplanes on the ground. Because 300 is a lot. That is a lot of airplanes. And like I said, that's why I have mine set to the limiter instead of just maximum number to keep. Because I don't want to have, you know, 250 airplanes in the air and only 50 on the ground. You know, or vice versa. So by using the or limited by air and ground option, I can put how many airplanes I always want in the air versus how many airplanes on the ground. And with the max in the air that I have is 10, which has been pretty good. I typically always see traffic near me, flying past me or around me, even with that 10 set. So it works out like it should. I think that's Key West that's loading in Latvia, for Key West that's loading in, giving that little pause there. Can't fly like I'd rather have a lot of traffic and lower FPS to increase my immersion versus I don't know, man. I'd rather have good FPS, man, than not, because that can make tough for landing for me if it's not smooth. But like I said, I think as long as you have enough, we're already starting the contrail there. I think it just depends on the airport. Like I try to load in as many airplanes as I can if it's going to be at an airport that typically doesn't get a lot of traffic. But I know, like, if I'm flying in the Chicago or something like that, that Chicago scenery is going to kill my FPS in itself. So I don't want a bunch of AI airplanes to drag it down even further to where it's basically just useless. Yo, Shock One, thanks for the follow.
I like it, Randy. It's very nice.
Let's see, you say what clouds? This is volumetric clouds, the built-in volumetric clouds. You say now would I like to have better FPS? Sure, which maybe I can lower my traffic and or get better graphics, etc. But yeah, and that's the great thing is it's a give and take. You can decide what you want to do. You know, you have that weight and balance that you can do of having that option versus not. But yeah, as you see, it doesn't. That's the great thing about AIG is it doesn't take a lot of FPS, but it does take enough. Especially, like I said, if you're in a high density area that requires a lot of memory and CPU usage, it can be very taxing. Adding a few more limitations to the ground and air. Yeah, welcome in, Shock One. Like LA and Chicago, I want to see traffic, but you're right, in those scenarios, yeah, it just, like I said, you just kind of got to play around with it. It depends on the area you're going in, but that's why I have it, like I said, I have it set to air, ground, and then I only got to mess with those two versus trying to get the sim to delete a ton of traffic at the same time. So I know, like, if I'm going to Chicago and there's going to be a lot of VATSIM traffic, I typically will turn down my ground traffic from 30 to about 20, maybe even 15. But like if I'm landing into Midway, I'll typically leave it because, or I'll vamp it up, because if not, the sim is going to throw all of that traffic to Chicago instead of to Midway. But also you can use the tab that says, let's see, let's bring it down here. So you can also use this tab where you say keep traffic going to and from these airports. You can do that and only list it like Midway, for example. So when you get closer to Midway, it'll only load traffic into Midway and not into O'Hare. Because it's guaranteed if you have it limited, all of that traffic is going to end up at O'Hare and not at Midway. So you can do that as well by turning that keep traffic on for these specific airports. So you can do auto select. So when you load your flight plan into P3D, it'll grab it from P3D and it'll put those two airports here. So all your traffic will only be going in and out of those two airports. So I like doing that if I'm going to be like in close proximity, like landing in LaGuardia or Newark or JFK, where all of those major airports are right close to each other. The sim is likely going to throw it to the first airport it processes. So I've been doing great with the amount that is loaded versus the other programs I had. Yeah, exactly. And you have a lot more control over what your traffic's doing and how that traffic's hitting the sim. That's the main reason I like it. Honestly, the main thing that really makes AIG work is AI Companion. If you don't have AI Companion, AIG is not useful, because again, the sim's just going to grab every single flight plan that AIG has available and throw it in the sim, and then you're constantly having to readjust your traffic limiter inside the sim versus from the companion, from the outside program. So really that's the icing on top is AI Companion is what truly makes the difference for AIG. Alright, we're 16 minutes in. We're already coming up on flight level 340. We're not doing too bad. Again, you guys aren't going to hear any screaming passengers today because we don't have self-loading cargo running. Alright, says we should land and TN. That's going to probably increase as well. We have 7,000 on the for reserve. Let's see where to go. Yeah, reserve is 7,000. Right now we're looking about 9.2. That's probably going to increase to about, probably even close to 9.7 by the time we get there. That number typically increases once we reach cruise and the engine power comes back a little bit. Is what that normally goes to. Alright, so let me look at some numbers. We got 33 on the tail. That's coming up on 35 because that's depending on what this airplane is going to want to do once we get to cruise. Let's see something here. Let's go 0.78. This plane actually is higher than 0.78. Let's set cruise as well to the same. Just gets real squirrely for some reason at 7.9 and 8.0. So we'll just hold 7.8. I had a lot less traffic in those programs, but FPS was terrible. This is more, yeah, exactly, FNL. Yeah, I should do that when I fly to those cities with a lot of airplanes. Yes, absolute game changer. Like I said, with AI, without AI Companion, it'd be, I don't think that I'd use it if I didn't have AI Companion. Yes, exactly. It's a lot more stable than it was before. Because I know the first time I got it, it was overwhelming for me, and I was just like, you know what, I'm not gonna mess with it. I'll leave it alone. I'm not gonna touch it. And then I was realizing I really wanted to have traffic on the ground at the airport, so I went ahead and took the time to really figure it out, learn how to install it. Fortunately, I'm glad I did as well. It's like I said, the amount of control you have using AI Companion makes the difference. All right, we're coming up on that. We're hitting Coffin's Corner, pretty close. Nice, man. I'm glad you got that 4 terabyte installed as well. All right, get back on 370. 70.78. We're holding. So we can hold our speeds. Like I said, we shouldn't have any weather issues, so we should be fine. It looked to be any turbulent issues as well. 7.8 on the differential pressure and about almost 8,000 on the cabin altitude. Those numbers match as we look at the cabin altitude tape here. 320 to 410 should be about 8,000 on the cabin altitude, and that's where we're at, almost 8,000. All right, cruise on the thrust rating. This we could have already taken the seatbelt signs off. All right, we're at 370, folks, and en route to Princess Juliana. I don't think I've done a stream to this airport ever. I don't think. He said the first installer was so unstable, I was just trying to open it and it would freeze. Yes, I remember that too. And this one sometimes does that, where you have to open up the task manager and shut it down because it'll freeze up every now and then. But yeah, the original one had major issues. Even when I first picked it up, like I said, it had some issues that needed to be worked out. All right, we're looking good. We got 40 knots on the tail. All right, it's 17:37 Zulu time right now, 27th of February 2023. 21 minutes in, we're at flight level 370. And like I said, actually that went down to 8.4. Interesting. It'll probably still pick back up, I think. So we're looking to hit top descent at 1917. So that's a little under 2 hours from now. We'll reach top of descent. It'll probably be before that as well, if we get ATC online at some point. Right now we're passing just south of the Bahamas. Out over open ocean. Now for some reason SimBrief did not want to give me a ETOPS, and I feel like this would be an ETOPS flight. I don't know if I could be doing something wrong, but I did have the ETOPS tick box checked, so I figured it would have given us that, an ETOPS configuration, but I could have been doing it wrong still. You say, yep, have the 4 terabytes, so now it just needs to be accompanied with the upgrade on the rest. Just so expensive, which is a little overwhelming, so I'm not, yeah, exactly. Upgrade the rest. I know both of you do recommend the i9. Well, that's what I have. I don't know what the latest. I'd go if you can afford to go with whatever the latest is, as well as what do you call it? I'm trying to think of it. Performance. The latest, whatever the latest performance is now. Also, of course, you got to take into account if you have a motherboard that's updated enough to give you the latest, to buy a later one. But if your board can do an i9, then that's what I'd go with. Because I'm using the i9, let's see, pull this up, it's been a while. Yes, that departure, it's nice looking, man. Once you really get the hang of what you're looking at, it looks pretty slick. So yeah, the 10850K, which I'm sure you can. I've seen people with the 12s now. I think Chewy has a 12, like the 12900F or K, I think it is. Oh, you got some traffic below us here. Gaining on him. Let's see. Let's bring that rage in some. $2,200 feet. Let's see if he's. Who is that? A United flight? Where's this United flight going? He's probably going right where we're going. The other thing I like using is the distance to player tab on AI Companion. So that way you can see, oh, that's an actual, that's VATSIM traffic. I don't know where he's going though. He's in the 73900. Yeah, he's in a 900 variant. He's probably going exactly where we're going. Like on the same flight path. Speaking of sim brief, I was enlightened by 757 Spy in the video on YouTube. He was showing the whole process of interpreting what some of the load stuff was. Oh, gotcha. What was he saying? We're doing 490 across the ground right now. We're an hour 52 minutes out. Let's see what was oh yeah, I saw you in Jason's channel talking to him about the about departure fuel and minimum fuel. I thought you had already kind of known that information. But yeah, I always, now I saw that you said that you're going to increase the taxi time. I would honestly just, like I took from what Decimal said, and what he does IRL as a dispatcher with pilots. I always just load an extra 1,000, depending on where I'm going. Like these overseas flights, I automatically throw an extra 1,000 pounds of fuel, regardless of taxiing or de-icing. So like if I'm flying a short hop from, like when we go to Charlotte, if there's no weather issues, I'm probably not going to take 1,000. I may take 500 extra, if anything. But if the weather's perfect, or like when we do that short hop, which I think is like 20 minutes, if that, going from Fort Lauderdale back to Miami, I'm not going to take any extra fuel because we're not going to need it. Unless there's weather, of course, during that flight. But otherwise, I'm going to leave it as is. So it just depends on where you're flying to. But any flights, like all of the flights I've done so far, where we're doing oceanic flying, I've taken at least an extra 1,000 pounds of fuel. You've violated my minimum takeoff fuel either because my fuel management is bad. Oh man, yes. Yeah, that's what was the reason I started paying attention to minimal fuel as well for departure. And started also trying to implement that. So like if I know I got a long taxi or a VATSIM events going on, haven't ran into it yet, but I definitely will take advantage of that. If we hit bingo minimal fuel, then I'm gonna taxi back to the terminal and get more fuel added, because it is a real life thing. So I think it'd be fun to simulate that as well. 37 off the nose, on the tail. I had just loaded the fuel and was just looking at my estimated fuel at my arrival airport and hoped to have at least 6,000, I'm assuming, or more in the FMC. As you've noticed, sometimes I had those messages where I'm like on reserve fuel. Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm always conscious as well of looking at what our destination fuel is going to be, so we make sure that buys us a little bit more time, keep us above reserve fuel. We're up here in first class. Everybody has their window shades closed. No one likes looking outside. We're going to keep the shades open. All right, there's the center tanks. 0.2 and now remind me, FNL, do you turn crossfeed on for like 5 seconds or so and then turn it back off? Because I believe I've seen Jason where he leaves the left center tank on and the right one off and crossfeed open and then shuts it off. We got JetBlue crossing us off our left there. I'm now knowing that if I take off without going past my minimum takeoff fuel, I'll be safe. So yeah, I found where SendBrief has the cost index number as well. I started messing with cost index, but then I just started leaving it alone and just leaving it on auto. Because I don't want to mess the cost index up or use the incorrect one that airline doesn't use. So I've just started just leaving it in auto, unless it looks very strange if I'm doing like a 30-minute flight and it's trying to send me up to flight level 370 or 390 or something like that. I'll mess with the altitude or something to that extent. SendBrief has the bus is well labeled, etc. Charlie knew the only other thing is like slope, or like if I want to throw the N1 or thrust kind of stuff, I'll need to study that, how they get their numbers. Oh yeah, true. Slope, I have just do 0. Okay, crossfeed is, to my knowledge, is to balance out the fuel tanks. Only reason why I will turn it on. Oh, okay, if you have an imbalance. Okay, gotcha. We're good on both wing tanks. Center tanks are out. So we're good there. Yeah, and so again, like I said, we're getting an increase right there on that destination fuel. It's at 8.6 now.
Abbreviated briefing from your current position to Kilo Mike India
Alpha
Alpha
crap.
2 Tango November Charlie Mike. No SIGMETs active for your route flight. No airments active for your route.
I took off calling out on an incorrect frequency.
abbreviated briefing.
Unfortunately, I just realized that.
Kilo Mike India Alpha 2 Tango November Charlie Mike. No segments active for your route flight. No airments active.
No segments or air
Current
mids.
weather conditions. Mike Yankee Echo Sierra wind 125 at 3 visibility 10,000. Sky clear, temperature 24, dew point 16, altimeter 3009 to the destination at your estimated arrival time. Wind 134 at 7, visibility 10,000, sky condition 1,600, scattered temperature 27, dew point 21, altimeter 3006 for your alternate at your estimated arrival time. Wind
Alternate is TJSJ.
Visibility 10, sky condition 3,200, scattered temperature 28, dew point 19.
If we need, we should need it, but that's what we have as our alternate. Dang it, I can't believe I departed without being on the correct frequency. Emergency window there. Yeah, I'm gonna still try to create me another camera option so I can have a flaps view from the side. It's like I could do this from in here, but when I turn tracker R back on, it cuts that out. So I can't, it puts me right back where I'm supposed to be at. And then some of the shades don't open, so I'd have to set these all to open in the EFB, which I'll probably do because certain window shades you can't open in where they don't actually have a camera config set up for it. You can't open the window shade. So what I'll do is set them all to open, and that way when I set up that new camera config, I'll be able to have some extra seats. Like I said, because I do want a seat position that's aft of the wing, so we can see the flaps extend and to such. So when I reactivate track R, it puts me back at the correct seat position. Unfortunately. Got to look into, like you said, about doing, hold on, let me see, I missed what you said earlier. Let me look at the other message you just wrote. I believe on the other hand, I learned from you guys and my dad when I come from de-icing, I turn off the pack switches and flaps up for de-icing and down after landing. If the, yes, so you leave flaps out, tacks into the gate. From what I've read and heard, if the weather is of that nature, you just leave the flaps extended. And then of course, if you're flying an Airbus, I've learned as well, if the temperatures are above 33 Celsius, like going into Phoenix or something like that during the summer, they typically leave the flaps extended. And I actually saw that here in Houston when I flew the Airbus from here to Atlanta, I think. We flew the 321. When they taxied in, they left the flaps extended. Yeah, because it was June of last year when we went to Buffalo. But we had a connecting flight from Houston to Atlanta, and then from Atlanta to Buffalo. And they left the flaps extended coming up to the parking at the gate. And when we got on board, I think the new crew didn't raise the flaps until we pushed, and they left it set. But I think honestly, The crew before may have left it set at flaps 2, I think, or maybe raised the flaps 1. I don't remember, but I feel like I don't remember seeing them extend, and I have it on video. I'm gonna have to go back and look because I know I recorded it, so I will be able to see exactly what the flaps were set to. But I know the Airbus, they don't raise the flaps on landing if the temps are above 33 Celsius because of I think they say to overheat the flap motor. Flaps for eyes once I'm at the gate, and once clear I retract. Got to look into shit about doing custom de-icing spots up there. Oh, did you get it set up? Otherwise, I will just go to those spots on the map and just request. But yeah, I think it'll be fun to have them set up, man. Just have them set up in there where all you gotta do is taxi to it. You already know which one to go to as well, and you can call that out to ATC because you can set up multiple ones. That's what's cool about this. You can set up multiple spots. That's what I like. So that way you're not having to. Because I think too, if you already have it set up, and I haven't tested it. I just kind of slewed the airplane there without the engines on. So I think, just like the flight video, the video from FS Dream Team, if you already have the spots set up, when you get there, the de-ice truck should already be there. I think they'll already be sitting there waiting for you to pull in, so they're not, you know, coming across the grass right in front of you, or things like that. But I haven't gotten to test it yet. So I think, but I'm thinking also it should also give the little sign on the ground like they have for Microsoft MSFS, where they have the sign there saying your flight number and all of that stuff. I think it'll do that. I'm not too certain, but I haven't gotten to test it yet. I definitely want to test it so I can find out. But I haven't set anything up because we're flying out of Florida, and everywhere we're flying, I'm not gonna need it. The only place I think we may need it is when we go to Charlotte, maybe. That may be it, depending on what the weather is in Charlotte. But I'm thinking I may not need to do it just yet. Yeah, when I get time, I'll definitely get it set up. Yeah, and the other thing, I don't know about you, but for some reason, like in any turboprop aircraft, my GSX doesn't work. Like, it crashes. GSX crashes anytime I try to call de-icing for turboprops. I think they may just not have it built in for it, is what I'm thinking. Which sucks, because it'd be nice to really use that de-icing for that. Right. No, I understand. And also, I did mess with it. You only really get like 2 options. Once you select it and it puts you at that place, you're just selecting where the marshal is going to be at and your stop point. That's it. There's only 2 things that you have to configure for it. So you don't have to like configure where the de-ice trucks are going to be stationed at or any of those things. I don't know if that may be a future update. But as of right now, when you do designate the area, you only set up 2 locations. Now I think as well, you probably, because you can do multiple ones, I'm assuming you can name the same name with multiple stands, so that way you can, instead of just, because when you set it up, you set up the area and you designate 1 single parking spot. So if you wanted to have multiple parking spots, I think you would have to label that designated area with the parking stand attached to it, so you know exactly what parking stand you're going to go to within that area. So which I think is cool, because if other VATSIM guys are also utilizing that function while on the ground, it allows you to switch to a different parking stand instead of waiting waiting for that person to move. But I think too, it's cool to even just see it, even though you won't be able to see the de-icing trucks working on that VATSIM traffic. But I think it's still progress, man. Like I said, as much as we all complain about FS Dream Teams method sometime. You gotta absolutely appreciate the fact that he's been updating GSX to this point for free. And to be honest, at this point, if he had a donation section, I would absolutely donate just for the amount of updates that we've gotten for GSX. I would absolutely give some donations for where GSX is at today compared to where it's been. You know, for the amount of updates he's done for it without it being any charges. Interesting. I wonder if my B1900 can get de-iced. I need to check the idea we talked about with doing multiple types. Oh yeah, true. I think, like you said, that probably can work if you like inch forward an inch or something, and then call them back up. Which I think should work, because if you have it the designated area and then you move forward an inch out of that designated area, it should then ask you, do you want to de-ice where you are, and it should bring the trucks back out for you to use the Type 4, I would think. So far we did but we had to, yeah, true. I think that should work, man. I think if you do like you said, just move forward an inch or two, because then it takes the it'll automatically make GSX close. So it'll, you know how like when you push from the gate, you start the engine. As soon as you inch forward, when you move the throttles forward, the pushback guys disappear. So if you were to stop and then call them back up, they should reappear again, I think, without having to restart GSX. Because the problem with that, when you restart GSX, is now you've deleted your passengers that you have boarded. So when you land and park, you have to reset those. You have to redo the whole initializing part of the passengers and stuff again. This is the only thing that I could see that you would have to redo. Yes, exactly. This is true. Very true. I don't know if you watched my last flight. I think the last stream or the stream before that, during cruise, I showed some of my real life flights, a couple that I haven't processed yet. And one of them was flying the 172 going back to Houston Executive right when a storm was moving in. And even though that storm was like 25 or 30 miles north of the field, I was already feeling the wind turbulence from that storm, and it was insane. So if you haven't seen it, or if you haven't watched that VOD, I played that video at cruise. It was intense. I think it was on the last flight. It might have been on the flight just before that one, but I played quite a bit of my flights I haven't posted yet on that stream. I was showing Jesus. Me and Jesus was talking. I was showing him some of the flights that I've done in the Piper Arrow. I think I showed him some of those flights. Not a lot. I just posted some of the, not posted, but I just showed the videos during that stream. Because I was at first, I was sad. It still only offered Type 1 or 4 as initial by default, I think. Yeah, I think it shouldn't be hard for him to set that up either. If he's able to have made the GSX work the way it has to this point, I'm pretty sure he can implement that, of even giving just the option. Like you have Type 1 through 4, and then like the fifth option to be Type 1 and Type 3, or Type 1 and Type 4 that you can select to get them both. You know, and they may not even stop spraying. They may just add like another 30 seconds or something to the spray. But even after they do type 1, they'll just say, you know, they'll announce that they're doing type 4 as well. I think that would be pretty cool. Oh, I saw that. I saw it on your Instagram, man. That was pretty dope, man. I saw that. I like the that picture you posted on your Instagram. When you sitting in the C-130. Holy crap! The plane ran off the end of the runway. It's an Archer. How did an Archer run off the runway? What, did he have a long landing? That's interesting. Nice, man. That C-130 had to be a massive airplane. It was an Ames Archer, and the crosswind was 19. Oh, he ran off the side of the runway then. He had a runway departure. He didn't even make it to the end. And just right there, without even the gust factor, that 19 is already exceeding the crosswind, max crosswind component of that airplane. Because most GA airplanes, yeah, is 17. Almost all GA aircraft, small light GAs are 17 max on the crosswind, and it was already at 19, gusting the 2.5. Now, Shaq, we studied the Archer maximum steady crosswind is like, yep, 17. Oh man, the student landing. Instructor was shook up. Oh, I believe it. Mostly in part to the fact that he allowed that student to take off and land, unless it just came out of nowhere is the only other reason he would, you know, probably not get an investigation on himself. But if he released that student knowing the wind components were where they were, he's definitely going to probably have some trouble coming his way. Did they damage the prop? I assume they went off in the grass and probably damaged the prop and probably a wing spar as well, possibly, I'm sure. Maybe even a landing gear. That's a lot of damage in itself right there. Even just the prop, that's an engine overhaul, prop replacement. And then also why they didn't land on that crosswind run. Oh, so they could have landed with a headwind. Is that the short runway that you showed me when we were going over AIG on Discord? You were talking about that smaller runway. Was that the crossing runway? The crosswind runway, I mean. They went off in the grass, minimum damage. I think it may have been something underneath. Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. .624 is our crosswind runway. Later that day, we had at least 3 planes land on 2-4. Nice. Smart thinkers. Well, also I would assume, because y'all are a tower there, have a tower control. I'm wondering if does that put it on a tower as well to give the correct runway for smaller GAs? Wouldn't that be a tower control thing that they should have given that student the crosswind runway instead of him landing on the main runway, I would assume? Okay, yeah, short. It's fun to watch planes that cause. It's not commonly used. What's the length of that shorter runway? Okay. But see, I would assume though because it's a tower control, that they are going to give the instruction of landing that runway, that's going to be the active runway, depending on the aircraft. I would assume like a light GA like that, they would automatically say you're going to need to land 2-4 because of the winds. And like the Gulfstreams or the 7-3s that y'all get, you know, they would still land the main runway. Alright, we got Samana Cay Island just to our north, which is that little island right there below us. I don't know what happened to that VATSIM traffic that was close by, but he disappeared. Maybe he landed in the Bahamas or somewhere. But right now we have Bahama Air. He's 32 miles away from us. He's going from Mayaguana to Nassau. Yeah, so I'm excited about the flights that I have going to in the Keen Air, man. We're gonna be doing a lot of flights. I think, like I said, next month is gonna be all Keen Air flying. We're not gonna do any airline flying next month. We're gonna try to do. They try to do the Chewy challenge, the 30 and 30. We're gonna do 30 and 30 though instead of 30 and 15, because it is about. I think it is about 30 legs that we have. We'll be going to Teterboro. We'll be hitting up quite a few spots. Let me see while we're here. Yeah, so we're going to be going to Teterboro, Clearwater, Opa-locka. We'll be going BPF. Who is BPF? I don't know what that one is. We'll be going to Tampa, Boca Raton. I'm just trying to name off the ones that I know the call signs for, or the ICAOs for. But again, Teterboro. We're going to, what is BWI? I can't remember what BWI is. Dang it, I can't think of that one, but we'll be going there. Where else that I can see? I'm skipping some of these because I don't know them offhand. We'll be going to Sarasota, Richmond, of course Miami. It's going to be a couple, I think just one time we'll be going. Then we'll be going to the Bahamas on one of those flights. Let's see. We're going to Indy. I may have to go ahead and pick the Indy scenery up. But we'll be going to Indy, and then we'll be going to Covington, Cincinnati. I think Miami Executive. What is the SDF? I know I have SDF scenery. I think that's Louisville, if I'm not mistaken. It's SDF. Ooh, then we're going to be, the main reason I jumped on this is because we're going to be going to Lakefront. We're going to be going from Tallahassee, Alabama. No, it's, I don't know if that's right. But I know we're going to be going to Lakefront, Louisiana. I absolutely love that airport. I have not gotten a chance to fly there in real life, but definitely plan on it. Yeah, we got a lot of flights we're going to be doing in the Keen Air. And I'm probably going to rotate through all three of those liveries. Just depends. We're going to be doing a lot of Keen Air flying. You said it should, but I think they're like giving a main as default, cause the 624 is best for small light. Right. And that's why I said if it's an Archer might as well is just light as, not as light, but it's still considered light. Like a 172. There's not a huge difference. doesn't look to be any clouds over this area. Well, I'm not sure why we're getting clouds in this area. Let's get some clouds. Yes, Baltimore, that's it. Thank you. That's it. Baltimore is where we'll be going. Dang it, stay on that side. Gulfstreams and bigger default runway is the main, so sometimes they just say land runway 153 and 624. Oh, 624 is on request. Because our tower doesn't have radar, so they can't see the size to. Oh, got you. Wow, I did not know that. But I mean, you guys are class Delta, so they should already be getting a handoff if it's a Gulfstream or something like that. Or King Air, they should already be getting a handoff from approach for that traffic that's coming in. They should know it from that part. But yes, I could definitely understand like the small GA stuff. If that person's just flying VFR on no flight plan, then yeah, that would absolutely make sense. But yes, that makes sense because even here at Hooks, during the day only, the main runway is 17 left, 35 right, or I'm sorry, 17 right, 35 left, which is the main runway, and that runway I believe is 7,000 foot long. And then you have a parallel runway, which is 17 left and 35 right, because it's not lit. So it says the same thing when you listen to the ATIS of the main runway and then 17 left, 35 right on request. And it's fun landing 35 right because that runway is the same size runway. I think it's probably 25 foot wider than our old airport at Weiser, which is the same length. It's 3,400 foot runway, but when you see it compared to that big runway next to it, it can almost look like it could look intimidating, I guess. Said, but tower did close the main runway for a few minutes because of the winds. Oh, gotcha. I see. Yeah, if it's coming from Denver approach, our tower guys will be expecting it. But yeah, our GA monitor the Unicom frequency for GXY if you're in the practice area. Okay, got you. All right, we're an hour, 17 minutes out. I'm excited about this flight right here. Very excited. We still don't have any ATC online at all. But we get to fly into Princess Juliana. See, I don't think the weather's changing much there. It'd be nice to still get some cloud coverage though. Let's see, 120 at 5. That's 1800 Zulu. 1800 Zulu. All right, that's 18 minutes ago. 120 at 5. 100. Oh, V160. What the heck does that mean? Let's see. Ooh, we got light rain right now. I don't know. Oh, it is showing it in the METAR. Okay, it is showing that. We got light showers, rain showers. Visibility is good though. It says +6 on 4th flight. Scatter 1600, 27 and 20. 27 on the temp. Nice. Nice and warm. QNH 1017. No significant weather or signets. Just light showers. Then our comms go to Unicom from 1800 p.m. to 8 a.m. So Zulu time, let's see, what are y'all? Mountain time. So we're 5 hours right now. Y'all will be, what, 6 hours? So that would put it at 18. Oh, at midnight. At midnight or either... Yeah, so that'd be midnight Zulu time then, right? ASUS also goes to AWAS, yep. And they have that thing, that it goes fast. Hooks does the same thing over here. Hooks TME, of course, because we're under class Bravo, it switches to an Echo airspace once the Delta closes, which is something also that you want to pay attention to. And I learned this on my instrument training, that the rules change when the class Delta closes and goes to Echo for what takeoff minimums and alternate minimums are. Depending on what you're flying, you may not be able to fly certain approaches because of radar coverage. If there's no radar, you may not be able to fly a certain RNAV approach or so into the airport. So when you look at alternate minimums, it'll state in that on the AFD of what approaches are not authorized once it goes Echo and which ones are, what visibility minimums and all of those things, they change, so you have to really take those into account for using a certain airport as an alternate. Well, you not only using it as an alternate, but using going to that airport at a certain time. You know, so you may have to either postpone a flight or move that flight up further to make it to that airport while it's still a class Delta before it goes Echo. Yeah, AWAS stays same frequency. Typically for hours, AWAS is, well, yeah, it's still the same frequency. But of course, Unicom is then tower frequency, whatever the tower frequency. Like our tower frequency is 18400, so that now becomes Unicom for the airport. Let's see. Oh, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Gotcha. Not Zulu time. That's 24 hours. Okay, that makes sense. Airport is outside of the Bravo, so you guys should switch to golf. I think y'all should switch to a golf airspace then at that point. So BJC or APA is class Delta, I think, because it's in Denver Bravo. Oh, so y'all aren't even, let's see, AFL, even on a regular day. Typically, a Tower Airport is either Delta or to be a Tersa or even Charlie. Let me see, show on map. Oh, y'all are Echo, period. Y'all just happen to have a tower there. Nice, so y'all are Echo all the time. That's cool. Yeah, surface to 17999, class Echo. NOCO tower. (18.4) activation. Okay, good to know. Say ours, I think, is Echo. Yes, yes, true. Yeah, Echo and becomes Golf. CTAF is the same as tower frequency. Yep, that's it. It's basically Echo. That's cool, man. I did not know that. That y'all were towered and not even a Delta. That would make sense with not being radar. Trim going berserkers as usual. So what's crazy is even us simmers have access to our real charts, right? So when our IRL pilot flies into our airport and they don't contact ATC, they pretend they didn't know. No excuses. If it's across, yeah. So now that makes sense though why someone would know that I pay attention to look at the AFD to make sure that there's a tower at this airfield, because it's a class Echo. And typically pilots know class Echoes don't have towers. So yeah, that is one that you definitely have. That's another reason to look at the AFD, pay attention to the AFD, and the NOTAMs and charts to know where you're going, and not just flying somewhere, not paying attention. Like if you're planning a cross-country flight and you're looking at the charts, you're bound to see tower and ground. Exactly. Like I said, after paying attention to that, now I can see why someone would think otherwise. Or you know, they just dismiss it, not even paying attention to thinking that it's a tower. But yeah, if it's a flight you're planning, then yeah, that's something you would absolutely see if you're paying attention and flight planning like you're supposed to. If they're being monitored by Denver approach, they should have been handed off handed off to towers, so that is even more important to not. Yeah, exactly. If you're coming over from there, you definitely should have got a handoff from approach. And that too is why it's good to at least, even if you're VFR, to at least get flight following. Because they're going to still send you off to the next controlling facility. So you don't mess up. Oh, and there goes our clouds. Trim still going nuts. We still got 30 on the tail though, so that's not bad. We're an hour and 6 minutes out. Let's get some things pulled up here since we're already within that hour mark. Let's go here. Terminal charts. Good grief, then can you stop trimming? Go edit clips. We're gonna just get the approach. We're doing the RNAV 10, and let's go here. Parking bays. Where's parking bays? Yeah, they have got to get this under control. Docking system. Let's get these just to see what they're about. ESA Airport Ops. Go ahead and get an overview as well. Let's see. We got our approach. Yeah, we got that. Alright, let's do this. Alright, so again, we're going to be parking at Alpha 2. See, but yeah, I was going to say it should have the terminals parking bays down here on the same chart because it's so few parking spots. There's no point in having an additional chart just for the parking. So we're going to be parking right here at Alpha 2 when we land. We'll likely be back taxiing. We'll exit the runway at Charlie and take it into Alpha 2. Let's see, visual docking guidance system, which actually works here as well. You see, have to get my uniform on and get ready for work. FNL, man, my friend, I appreciate you stopping by. Enjoy talking with you as usual. And have a great day at work, my friend. Work out to catch it. Absolutely, man. Definitely catch it when you can. I'm just trying to play catch up, man. Trying to get these flights caught up. After we do the return flight back from here to Miami, I'll be knocking those other flights out pretty fast because they're much shorter flights than what we're currently flying at the moment. So yeah, I'll try to knock these out as quickly as we can. Today is a nice 50 Fahrenheit, unless it's windy, probably a busy piston day and or a turbo jet if the company's going flying today. Nice. Someone doing plane spotting them. Oh, nice. You put that on YouTube? If you missed that, then I'll go look. I'm at my airport back in November, and I should have been working that day. You can see the IRL traffic at my airport and the snapshot of variety. Nice. I'll definitely check that out, FNL, man. Again, appreciate you stopping in, my friend. Good to see you. And thanks again for the subscription. Gave our buddy FNL a shout out. There's no one in here right now, so can't tell it. Oh, okay, in Discord. Okay, sweet. I'll go check it there. And I don't know if you saw, but I did give you the 500 bits last month for the 13-month subscription. So you should have seen that on your stream elements. But yeah, to give you that free 1 month sub. I'll send the PM2, but yeah, we will see you. All right, absolutely, FNL, man. Again, appreciate you stopping in, my friend. Let's see. Visual docking. Let's see what we have here. Don't know that I really need these. Now that's just giving information on how the docking system works. We don't need any of those. Let's see what the air ops are. Most definitely. Alright, straight in on the RNAV, GNSL nav. Would be category C. Let's see, 700. What is R? Continuous descent, final approach, missed approach restricted to a maximum 205 until established. Direct on bed, missed approach restricted to maximum of 205 until tracking 180. I'm not worried about takeoff for now. So if we do number one, we got two things. Continuous descent, final approach, and missed approach restrict to max 205. Both of those are on the first one. Again, we don't have an arrival into here, so we'll just brief the approach. Alright, so RNAV 96, final approach course. Let's at least get that dialed in. Alright, we are currently right at the 1 hour mark. 96 set. 1700 at lesser. So we're going to be coming in from Sluggo directly to lesser. Lesser's actually the final approach fix. So once we cross Vaki, we'll be setting flaps and gear and all of that stuff for the approach. And this is likely going to be just backed up to the visual, depending on if it's still raining and or cloudy over the area. We have 700 DA minimums. Set 700 there. Got 4100 MSA at ARP. Airport. Alright, transition level is 6500. Transition altitude is 5,000. Alright, so we got 1700 is really the only thing we have here for that descent once we get in the area. Top of descent. Alright, 1918. It's not long off. Yeah, so Sluggo 2600. We'll start down from jets. Going down to 2600. Alright, as we burn fuel, you see our coffin corner has decreased. So we're much lighter. Oh, an overview. Let's see what we're looking at. Yes, we'll be landing this direction right over the beach. Let's remove some of these clips that I have. Remove the guidance system. On the any of those, we'll leave airport ops there. Oh, hold on. Let's see something else here. Let's see. Edit clips. What is information? We don't have anything for there. Alright, so we're golden, and at about 35-minute mark, we'll start doing the we'll start going over the performance for our landing information. From landing into here, and we'll go from there. Again, appreciate you guys hanging out with us today. We have so we have quite a few airplanes in our area. Right now we don't have any AI, not AI, but VATSIM traffic in the area. We got a Southwest that's 20 miles away going opposite direction. He took off from TJSJ going back to Fort Lauderdale. We got a United 900 going from Punta Cana to Chicago O'Hare. That's going to be quite the flight. 1,700 miles worth of flying. And the A220 at that. No, hold on, that's not the same person. That's the Frontier in the A220. That's got 1,700. The Frontier and the United are coming from the same place, going to the same destination. So A220 and the 73900 are both going from Punta Cana to Chicago O'Hare. Got JetBlue going from Jose Pena to JFK, the A321. Got Inter-Caribbean going from that same departure, Jose Pena to Providencia on a 145. Let's see, got United going from Bush to TJSJ. That's 1,700 miles as well. Atlanta to King, Virgin Island, 1,300, and a 757 out of Delta Jet out of Atlanta. But as for us, we're looking good. Like I said, we're 54 minutes out. If you guys didn't see already, on our ticket up top, the blue line is our progression bar, a progress bar. Yeah, like I said, I'm excited about this flight. I have not flown this flight IRL. And our buddy Decimal just flew this flight a month ago. I forgot. I think he took off from Washington, if I'm not mistaken. No, I think he took off from Indy. I think that was his flight time, was from Indianapolis. To TNCM. Yeah, it'd be nice to have a little bit of rain shower landing in here today. Getting like 30 to 40 looks like FPS in here. Alright, we're about 42 minutes out. Inbound.
Tango, November, Charlie, Mike, Airport Information, Oscar 1800, Zulu, weather, wind 134, at 5, visibility 10,000, sky condition 1,500, scattered light rain, temperature 27, dew point 20, altimeter 3003, advise on initial contact, you have information, Oscar.
Alright, back to guard frequency. We're at 38 minutes now. I'm gonna go ahead and get the let's get our performance going. We're a little bit more aft than I'd like to be. We'll still be within our envelope. At 510 en route, that's what we need. Runway 149.1 reversers all working. And we'll do flaps 30. Go AC on, anti-ice off, brakes 1 none normal. Everything works, no issues there. Actually, yeah, we'll go wet. And that's without brakes. Let's do flaps 40. Let's do we're gonna need more there. Let's go back to 30 and we'll just increase the braking. We'll do auto brakes too. +5. What do we have? 130, 134 at 5. Let's do that. We'll do that. Flaps 40 is what we'll go with. 149. Do auto brakes 2. And we have top of descent showing up on the screen now as well. Brakes 2. Brakes, flaps 40 plus 10. So we're going to be full flaps on this. Alright, so approach information set. Course 96, we have minimum 700. We've already briefed the approach. Actually, did we actually brief the approach? I don't know that we actually did. Let's go back here. Yeah, I guess it's not much to brief. This approach, climb right, turn to 4,000, direct to on bed and hold. Or as directed. Let's go, missed on bed is here. Ooh, we get a direct entry. No, we don't. That's a lie. We will do a parallel entry on that. That's what we'd end up doing. A lot of traffic on the ground at TJSJ. All right, 4,000. Let's see, we actually have, because this is Q&H if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 1017 is what it is. The obstacle is going to be that terrain, or there's an obstacle on top of the terrain there. It's at the end of the runway. Just approach. Most of this approach should be visual. We're just backing these things up here. 3-degree glide path. Just approach at Maypone. We have LNAV down to 700. So no vertical guidance, just LNAV. So we can descend at about 800 to 900 feet per minute. Let's see, at 149. Yeah, we're already doing those. So we can do about 1,100 feet per minute. Probably just 1,000. 28.5, that's 1,500 pounds more than what we actually need. Let's see, what area are we coming up on now? TJSJ is going to be off our right on the islands over here. Doesn't look like there's any rain here. Always trying to scare somebody. Check, check, 1, 2. Alright, we're good. Other than this trim wheel going berserkos. I didn't touch the air. Your mama probably did that. She probably would. I didn't mess with it. Then you messed with it. Because they don't eat their food like they're supposed to. Stupid trim wheel. Get a grip. Alright, we're going to be starting that descent here pretty soon. Pretty soon. Let's see if this prediction thing works this time. There's a good chance it won't. But we will see. Where is this? Puerto Rico. That's what that is. That's Puerto Rico. And we're going still past that for a good distance. Oh, 60 plus. All right, we're 25 minutes out. So far, the flight's going perfectly. Just hope we can stick this landing as we need to. We may change our landing if it's no longer raining here. No, it still says, oh, we went to marginal. We're marginal now. Showers in the vicinity. Yeah, we're going to leave it just as is. Let me change something here, though. Got timer a little bit sooner than later, so yeah, I think we're gonna leave it just as is, because if it's raining, then yeah, we're gonna have some troubles. Let's bring up windy, see if I can see what the weather's doing there. It's probably very light showers, if anything. Cuba. Gotta be. That's not that far down. Winds are definitely favoring 1-0, that's for certain. Let's see if I can see a little bit more here. Not saying much, it's probably just a little small pop-up showers. No pressure issues in the area as well. Bands look normal. I think we're going to be good. Coming up on TOD. So we're just going to go ahead and set 2600. Set. Holy crap. Oh, that's at or above. I was saying there's no way we're going to make that. That's at or above. That's a difference of about 60 miles. We've had a tailwind. That's the beautiful part. We had a tailwind the entire route here. Well, let's get descent winds as well. One thing we didn't do. Transition is flight level 6.5. Is that correct? Can't be right. Oh no, that is right. I'm wrong. Let's load. Top of descent moved a little closer as well. I like that. (1918). 1 minute from now. Gotta let the folks in the back know. I don't think that button works. Again, we're not using self-loading cargo. For some reason, it's not loading. It's not wanting to turn on correctly. So we're not going to force it. And we're landing with 8.6. That's about 1,600 more than our reserves. So we'll take that. We start down here pretty soon. Weather radar is on. Don't need terrain data. We'll be fine on that. Alright, starting at descent. Yeah, 7, 8, 2, 4, below 10,000. I know we're about to start that descent. There we go. Now we have the profile. Alright, descent pressurization set. Landing altitude is 0. Should be zeroed out. Yep. Recall. Check. Auto brakes are set to 2. Landing data VREF is 149. Approach briefing completed. Descent checklist complete. Approach will be verify altimeters, which we can go ahead and put that in right now. It's 1017. Alright, still showing light rains. Now we're still at 1800 Zulu, which was about an hour and 19 minutes ago. That should be updated here pretty soon as well. Brakes out. I'll be descending so fast. Be on profile. I guess that's decent. Shouldn't be going so fast though. All right, 2 hours, 4 minutes into the flight. Oh no. Should not be going that fast. Oh, you know what? Let's slow us down to 280. Here we can just slow down to 280. Should not be going that fast anyway. We'll go. Level change. All right, we'll catch back up with the profile there. Just fine. We're out of flight level 220. Oh, they had a standby there as well. I didn't notice the backup. Get standby as well. Nice. Catch up with the profile. Want to be fast. 3,000 feet out side of that. All right, there's 18,000. 17 and 17. All right, that updated to 1900. Vicinity showers. 0 at 3, broken 1600. All right, looks like it's going to be fine. We're going to stay with the plan of what we had set in place. So if you go back with the VNAV, all right, it's at 240 already. Continue slowing down as well. All right, we're depressurizing as well. 4,000 on the cabin altitude and 4.6 differential pressure. Depressurizing as we descend. ATR en route as well to our airport. Alright, we're catching up with the profile as well. Alright, FMC speed, and we ought to pick up on that descent a little faster now. Alright, come on, start descending. Alright, you don't want to work. We'll ride it out ourselves. Let's go vertical speed. Let's go flaps 5. Sending out of 10,000 now. We'll get all lights up. Alright, we're 49 miles away, and it looks like there's a C-14. Oh no, he's not going to our airport anyway. Alright, let's see. He's 49 miles out as well. He's a PC-12. And that's only one guy. So we really only got one airplane to worry about. There's two of them taxiing out right now to depart the airport. We're already at 23 on the temps. Let's start that turn. See anything there? Oh, we hit transition altitude too early. That was my mistake. No weather paint on the radar, so I would assume we're going to be fine. It's probably, like I said, just light showers or something at best. Decelerating to 180 to cross a vacuum. Now we have the approach course there, preview showing there. that PC-12, he's taking off. He's been in the air a while. So he's a non-factor. When we're taking off, one more, got another wind air taking off out of the airport as well. This may work better now. We're going to be parking Alpha 2. See if this works as good as I would like it to, since we're within my range. It looks like it's within 30 miles. We're already below 10,000. Start slowing up to 180 now. We're still in the clouds. Now it is vertical guidance. Still a LNAV localizer, not localizer, but just LNAV guidance. Alright, slowing down to 184. There's 210. Princess Juliana traffic, American 2219 is about 15 miles northwest of the field, inbound for runway 10, Princess Juliana. LNAV's already on, so it flies in as needed. 700. Catching up with that path there. Should cross that before that Angular traffic. I think it says Angulera or something. It's 400 feet above us. That's him right there. We may get a sounder, may get an alert. Maybe. Alright, we're coming up on Milwaukee. About to start that turn inbound. There we go. Six. Let's go gear down.
2,500.
Flaps 15. Down to 163. Again, we're full flaps on this landing as well.
Traffic.
He's not a factor. He's off our left. This is Juliana traffic. American in 2219 is on a 9-mile final, runway 10. Princess Juliana. Five. Lesser is the final approach fix. Let's go flaps 40. Green on the gear. Let's get nose light on. All of the landing lights are on already. Since we're in this, we'll get logo light on as well. I think I still on the approach. Yeah, an approach course and glide pad active. We'll go 4,000 on the altitude for the go around. 4,000 set. For 700 minimums. Looks like we might be breaking out here. Alright, I got approach lights, pappy lights anyway. Not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, we got visual.
1,000.
This is Juliana traffic. American 2219 is on a 3-mile final, runway 10. This is Juliana. Throttles.
Approaching minimums.
Approaching 10.
Minimums.
Higher plane. We're landing.
400.
No winds.
300.
Alright, flaps 43, green on the gear. Auto brakes are set to 2.
200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
We got a slight bounce. Versus out, speed brakes up. Oh, 511. 80 knots. 70, 60, and we're still slowing. Alright, my brakes. Those wheel steering set. Oh, that was a heavy landing. Yeah, speed brakes up. Lamps coming up. Alright guys, welcome to Princess Juliana. That was fun. Off there. This is Juliana traffic, American 2219, back taxiing runway 10. Princess Juliana.
Juliana traffic, Walker 3049, line up and wait, runway 10. Juliana.
On runway 28.
Back taxi here. We have dead traffic on the runway there lined up and wait. Flashers on the approach lights, on the landing lights there. And welcome guys. Flight time 2 hours 30 minutes. I can't exit right there. It would be too large to exit right there. We'll exit at Charlie. Actually, we'll exit at Delta here. And Juliana traffic, American 2219, clear, runway 10 at Delta. Princess Juliana.
Okay, Juliana traffic, Walker 3049, departing runway 10 to the south. Juliana. By the way, nice landing, American.
Thank you, sir, and appreciate the wait.
No problem. Have a good day.
Same to you. All right, we're cleaned up there. Brakes are off. That's that. Let's get strobe lights off. Wing lights stay on. Leave logo on. It is kind of gloomy out here. Let's get landing lights completely off. All right, we're 0-0'd. And we'll get over to the gate. Oh, he's showing up as a world travel for some odd reason. Got the Air France lining up there. Alright, and if this all worked out, if it picked it up properly, then we'll get to see where we touch down at here. Alright, yeah, we have two right there. Got some traffic on the ground. There he is. Nice departure out of here. See, that even said that it didn't even show that we landed. I don't think it's gonna pick it up. We did land, but it's not showing it. So, man, that may not work out for us again, guys. So I may change this back to the landing rate. For some reason, it doesn't work out too well for us. There's that Air France taking off. We'll get in here and park. May have to switch the prediction back to the landing rate because this isn't working out too well for us. Let's turn off the bit too much. Alright, parking brakes set. Alright, brake set. I forgot to turn off weather radar. Get that off. Get the APU on. APU bleed going on. Oh, gotta shut her down first. Close flight. Here. Get those on. Jetway connected. Is it gonna connect? Not too sure, but let's see. Let's get cleaned up here. Light can go off, logo can go off. Turn packs off. Off. Going off. Waiting for other services to complete. What services haven't completed? You say connection lost? Let's reset. So then, reload. We'll do it this way then. This should allow it to go through. There we go. All right, Jetway is connected. I don't know what other service is expecting or that it's trying to wait for. Let's just reset position. And let's do it again. Sometimes they act strange with the with SOD. Alright, we should get deboarded now. Door is open already. Let's get that up. Alright, get those folks off of here. Go APU off. Alright, 2 hours, 30 minutes flight time. Landed with 8.8 fuel. Shut that down. Yeah, guys, welcome to Princess Juliana. Like I said, we didn't use self-loading cargo today, so we got some traffic coming in to land here. All right, let's see. Like I said, I don't know why it didn't log that. We didn't land still. So I'm pretty sure this isn't going to work out. And it is not. It didn't pick it up. I don't know what's up with Sim Toolkit Pro, but it's just been very strange acting. It lately hasn't been picking up any of my landings anywhere. I've sent them a message, but they don't even reply back, so at least not toward what I've put in for. Like I said, I don't know if they're going to do anything, but we had a minus 511 on that landing rate. We'll have to bite that one. Overall, I think it was a good landing. None aside from those few issues. We got an ATR coming in here to land. Getting those folks deboarded. Oh, that was a nice smooth landing. That was very smooth. So you drag the brakes. Alright, other than that, guys, that's going to do it for us today. Our next flight's going to be leaving back out of here, going back to Miami. When that's going to be, not too sure. But that's what we're going to have. Let's get these folks deboarded. We'll call it a day, guys. I appreciate everyone that came along for the stream. FNL, Chewy, Jesus, all you guys came along earlier. I appreciate you guys stopping by, and everyone else who stopped by. That'll do it for us for now. We'll have to see you guys on the next one.